Good evening. Welcome to the ADAPT Leadership Awards Gala. Please welcome 12-time Emmy-winning anchor of the WPIX 4, 5, 6, and 10 p.m. news. She has authored 3 books and is the host of the Broadway show, the honorary vice chair of ADAPT Community Network, Tamsin Fidel.
Wow, it feels so good to be here. How's everyone doing tonight? Oh, come on. It's been 3 years. Thank you. How's everyone doing tonight? I am so excited to see all these faces and excited to be here. Thank you so much. Welcome back, and thanks for coming out for the first time in 3 years to support ADAPT. And I don't have to tell you, the last couple of years have been so challenging for ADAPT as they work hard to keep some of New York's most vulnerable citizens safe and healthy. And they did just that. Listen to this. Out of 450 people living in ADAPT-sponsored residences, 90% have remained COVID-free. It's really incredible. The other huge challenge, which still exists, is maintaining contact and providing services for over 1,000 adults and 1,100 children who attend the agency's programs on a daily basis. And for families who had no technology during this time at home, well, ADAPT provided them with devices and worked with Verizon and other communications companies to get everybody who needed it access to Wi-Fi free of charge. Plus, they kept in contact with everybody, and you know what I'm talking about, the times we were dealing with, those scary days. They delivered food, they delivered supplies to people living on their own or with aging caregivers. And they also developed a college curriculum level remote program for adults, while also training caregivers to help deliver needed education and therapies for children 3 to 5 years old. I can go on and on. I'll tell you what, they've done so much during this time, and they continue to do it each and every day. And I've had the opportunity to witness and participate in not only the name and the brand change of ADAPT, but also the expansion we're seeing of the focus and the vision over the years. And over the years, I've met and interviewed so many people who are supported by this organization. And they all share one common trait I've noticed. They're grateful, but they also express a new confidence when it comes to learning and facing any challenges that life presents them. ADAPT fosters that independent spirit. It is a truly special place. I'm proud to be associated with it. And by all of you being here tonight, I know you are as well. So thank you so much. Finally, I'm going on because I have a little brag list here. ADAPT Community Network has also expanded its services to meet the needs of individuals with disabilities in the Hudson Valley, as well as developing a much-needed new website for parents and caregivers of young children, Start Here. Last week, I interviewed Ed Matthews about it for one of the Changemaker segments that ADAPT sponsors on our Pix 11 News broadcast. Start Here will rapidly become an important resource for parents and for caregivers. ADAPT continues to build bridges to our future. For example, they're working with Google and programming their voice-activated devices to respond to even the most difficult to understand speech. Really think about that for a moment. People that you and I may not be able to understand will be able to do so much more independently simply by activating Google Nest, the same way all of us do. It's pretty amazing. ADAPT is doing its best to bridge the gap so we can have a truly inclusive world. As Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Today, ADAPT's Diamond Anniversary Awards features honorees who over the course of their careers have touched our lives and blazed new paths for others to follow. It really is a distinguished group. I'm so excited, from the entertainment world to news to the not-for-profit world. I know you're going to thoroughly enjoy them. So we're going to go ahead and get started. To present tonight's first award to the incredible Ali Stroker is the co-host of Morning Joe and star of Sunday Today with Willie Geist, a frequent contributor to the Today Show. He's authored several books, two of which have appeared on the New York Times bestsellers list. One he co-authored with his father, Bill, Good Talk Dad. Please help me welcome Willie Geist.
How's everybody doing? This is kind of cool, right? To be back doing this kind of stuff. I am thrilled to be here tonight to honor my friend Ali, even if after our little 2-year delay. When I was a kid growing up across the river in Ridgewood, New Jersey, playing lots of basketball and football, my mom began to worry that most of my life was being spent in gyms and that I needed a little balance. So she signed me up in 5th grade for summer stock theater. My first role was in Annie, playing the only boy in Miss Hannigan's orphanage. It was groundbreaking. Yeah. So I know we're here tonight for Ali, but let's not overlook my trailblazing acting career, is what I'm getting at. To continue the education, my parents often took me into the city to see big Broadway shows like Phantom and Les Mis, which I absolutely loved. But back in the gym, my high school basketball coach was training me in his specialty. His name was Jim Stroker, an icon in New Jersey, a man we all look up to still today. Jim's wife, Jody, and his children, Jake and Allie, were in a car accident when the kids were just babies. Jake and Allie were severely injured. Allie was paralyzed from the chest down. That brief, tragic moment shook our small town. But the Stroker family, Jake, Allie, Jim, and Jody, showed us the way. Coach Stroker included young Jake and Allie in our basketball practices. They were part of the team, like our little brother and sister. They struggled, of course, but they always fought, they always pushed, and they always went forward. Their amazing father put them through our drills and held them to a high standard, showing them and us who those kids could be. Even so, none of us in that gym could have imagined that little girl in her little wheelchair would grow up to be one of those big Broadway stars my mom took me to see. It would be her, Allie, up on that stage, standing in the spotlight, bringing people to their feet with her big, beautiful voice. But Allie is much more than a talent. She is an inspiration to people all over the world. Allie, as you know, made history in 2019 when she won the Tony Award for her performance in Oklahoma, becoming the first actor in a wheelchair to win a Tony. With an acceptance speech that went viral for all the right reasons, Allie stared right down the barrel of that camera in that bright yellow dress and inspired children with disabilities who finally saw themselves and shining. The little girl in a little wheelchair in that New Jersey gym had become a Broadway star holding a Tony in front of the world. Tony tonight is particularly special because Allie has dedicated herself as a celebrity ambassador to ADAPT, serving for several years as a co-chair of the Women Who Care Awards Luncheon. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend, Tony winner, Ali Stroker.
We made it after 2 years. This is an accomplishment. Willie, thank you so much for being here tonight and speaking those beautiful words. It means so much to me. You are my family. Thank you. I want to thank ADAPT for the Leadership Award. I feel so honored. I've been a part of this community, this family for years, and it's such an honor to be in this position now. I was thinking the other night about what this award means to me now, in 2022, as our world is changing so quickly every single day. And I go back to the words of William Shakespeare. Action is eloquence. Living your life with a disability means facing challenges every single day. And every single day, we talk about the changes that we want to see in the world. But I don't think that talking about them ever can make the impact if you don't do something. How you show up in the world, who you show up for, and what you show up for will be your legacy. I dreamed of being a Broadway performer for my entire life. And when I was a little girl, I was looking for people like me every time I went to see a Broadway show. I was looking in the movies, on TV, and I never saw any women in wheelchairs in the entertainment industry. And thank God I had an army of family and friends and teachers and my community believing in me, believing in my abilities. And that is what ADAPT does. They believe in every single kid that they invest in. I do what I do for all the little Allies out there who are not sure where they'll make it in the world. I want them to know that they can be successful and happy and have a full, beautiful life. I want to thank my dear friends and my family and my husband, David, who are there for me every day through all the highs and all the highlights that you all are a part of, and all of the lows, because those lows are kind of what make us who we are. I'm really, really touched being here tonight after all that we have been through. Thank you for showing up tonight, and I love you all. Thank you.
All right, our next presentation will be made by the award-winning anchor of ABC's World News Tonight, who's just returned from the Ukraine. You can clap, it's okay. He's just returned from the Ukraine-Poland border, where he has been reporting on the invasion. David Muir first appeared at an ADAPT event in 2011, and the agency is extremely grateful for his ongoing support. He is a 2019 ADAPT Leadership Awardee. Please welcome back David Muir.
Thank you for that. I thought maybe my mother was in the crowd. There was that one shout out back there. First of all, Allie, what an extraordinary actress. And I remember the night we went to watch Oklahoma and thinking after that performance, she is going to win the Tony. So, stick with me. First of all, I just want to say it is great to be back in person, to see all of your faces, and imagine that we can be back together again like this after so much that we've all been through as a country. Of course, we're here to mark ADAPT's 75th anniversary. It makes my heart sing tonight, not only to be here for that, but to talk about two remarkable people, two friends of mine, Amy Robach and Andrew Shue. I can't help but to smile when I think about them. Amy, as you know, has been a force in network news for many years now, her time at NBC and MSNBC, and of course, I'm a little partial to her time at ABC. I remember when she arrived. I remember when she had the office next to me. She came in. She was a force then. She's a force now. And I'm not even talking about news. Amy, over the time that I have been friends with her, has become a force for change and for good. You all know that I do the news at night, but over the years, Amy and I have filled in often together on Good Morning America. And I remember the first couple of times we filled in together, we kind of looked at each other during the commercial break and we said, is this supposed to feel like work? Which is something you never say in front of network news bosses, that it doesn't feel like work. But truth be told, Amy and I felt like we connected from the very start. Years later, we become co-anchors of 2020. We have loved every moment together. I know our colleague Deborah Roberts is here in the crowd tonight. We are very proud of that program all these years. Give you a little bit of Amy's resume. As you know, if you've all become news junkies, and in this time it's hard to just even avoid the news, I'm sorry about that. But Amy has interviewed countless newsmakers and covered countless global events all over the world. She reported on some of our biggest tragedies, the shooting at First Baptist Church in Texas, the Pulse nightclub, the awful massacre in Florida, the Sandy Hook Elementary School shootings in Connecticut. She's covered politics, of course, most recently the 2020 election. She reported on the murder of George Floyd and the reckoning, the much and long overdue reckoning in this country. Her international reporting includes the terror attacks in Manchester and Belgium. I remember standing there right next to her as we were live on Good Morning America that morning. She's traveled to Iceland to report on climate change. She's really led the way for our team, traveling all over the world. She's been in Tanzania on the poaching epidemic and its impact across the globe. And perhaps most importantly, she's had a profound impact on women, not only in this country, but around the world, raising awareness for breast cancer prevention and treatment. In 2015, she wrote a New York Times bestseller titled Better: How I Let Go of Control, Held On to Hope, and Found Joy in My Darkest Hour, which chronicled this unexpected journey for her with breast cancer after being diagnosed during an on-air mammogram while on Good Morning America in front of the country. That's an extraordinary story, and we are all so proud of her, and look at how she's thriving ever since. And what I mentioned here tonight about Amy and her resume, her long list of accomplishments as a journalist, that's just scratching the surface. We're about to get to what's truly important. Now, Andrew and I have never filled in on Good Morning America before, but I think we'd have pretty good chemistry. We definitely do over margaritas, so maybe that's part of the morning show if we ever get invited to do it together. But I want to mention that Andrew is being honored tonight as well. You might know his work as an actor, but for those of us who know him, we all know the quality of his work and the kindness that goes into his work as an entrepreneur and his contributions to the nonprofit world. He first excelled in the sports world. It's kind of, his whole family is full of athletes. You should just follow them on social media if you want to feel badly about how little exercise you're doing. In 1990, Andrew played soccer professionally in Zimbabwe for the Bulawayo Highlanders, winning the league and the cup. Then he played in the United States. He played 2 years in Major League Soccer for the Los Angeles Galaxy. 2 years later, Andrew gained some fame when he acted on this show called Melrose Place. He ended up on a few posters in bedrooms around the country and the world. We all remember that show. In 1994, Andrew co-founded the youth service organization Do Something with his lifelong friend, Michael Sanchez. They also co-founded Cafe Media, which is a platform that serves as the exclusive revenue provider for the nation's leading independent digital publishers. And most recently, and I remember talking about this just this last summer over dinner with Andrew, he helped launch a national grassroots effort to bring a more responsive government for the people, by the people, of the people, by forming a nonpartisan network called thepeople.org. Amy and Andrew, they married more than a decade ago now. Does it feel like a decade or 70 years or I don't know, you can tell me after. They brought together Amy's 2 daughters and Andrew's 3 sons. Cue the Brady Bunch theme song. And last year, Amy and Andrew actually co-authored a children's book called Better Together. And they actually took inspiration for that book from their own blended family, their real lives. And let's just say the McSquirrelies in the book are loosely based on the shoebox. Amy and Andrew, you both obviously have my respect. I know that you know that, but you also have my heart. And they're also just so awful to look at. But I do want to say as their friend that the real beauty of the 2 of them comes from within. I have witnessed in them what we all hope for at some point in our adult lives, a turning point when kindness, generosity, and gratitude become the most important things that drive you every single day when you get up. And I know that moment arrived for them long ago. Their family members, their parents, their children, they are their closest friends, but what's also remarkable is that their closest friends have become their family. And I think that that truly says it all about their hearts. So please allow me to welcome and to honor Amy Robach and Andrew Shue. Okay, I'm going to take the words.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Congrats.
Thank you. By the way, I'm going to bring David everywhere I go, just, as an introduction, because he's pretty good at his job there. And by the way, it's been awesome. David and I just said, I think this is the first time we were able to hug in 2 years. We've been standing 6 feet apart throughout this pandemic. He's been reporting, of course, as has I, but ABC rules that we had to stay apart. So this was a beautiful night, actually, where we hugged for the first time in 2 years. So David, thank you for that beautiful, beautiful introduction. I can only hope that we could live up to it. So thank you, and thank you, everyone. We want to give our deep appreciation for all of you being here tonight, and especially to ADAPT CEO and fellow honoree, Ed Matthews. Ed's in the house, right? He has continued to work tirelessly over the years, and especially during these past 2 years, while this pandemic disrupted all of our lives. As you might imagine, it was especially challenging to those with special needs. So many families have relied on the work of ADAPT more than ever during these times, and like always, ADAPT was there for them. So we want to give a huge thanks to the entire ADAPT Board of Directors. This is an organization that has helped children and adults and their families with disabilities and they've done it over the past 75 years throughout New York City, and through your support here tonight, I know that they can continue this very important work. And so, as a mom, as a journalist, I have seen, David has seen, we've all seen so many families struggle with disconnection, especially during these times. You feel separated, you feel alone and isolated. We need ADAPT to be there. This is the difference between feeling a part of something and feeling separated and alone. And this is a true lifeline for so many families and so many individuals now and in the past almost near century. So at some point, I know all of us face challenges. And as David mentioned, for me, it was a health challenge. I'm a breast cancer thriver, I like to say, 8 years and counting. Thank you. And that served as a huge wake-up call, because I think even as a journalist, you feel like you can imagine what it's like to struggle or to have some big challenge or face your darkest moment, but until it happens to you, you don't really realize how important community is, how important those lifelines are, like ADAPT, and until you have to. And when you do, it is an organization like ADAPT that is that extra helping hand, that group of people who shows you in your darkest hour or throughout some really difficult times that someone cares, that someone is there for you no matter what. And that is what ADAPT is for so many families and so many individuals here in New York City.
So I just want to say this morning at about 6:10, the alarm went off, and I said, I thought you weren't working this morning. She usually has to be on GMA early, or she has GMA 3 a little later. She's like, oh, I'm running 4 miles. So I said, so does that mean I have to run? She said, no, you can go back to sleep. But as she led me here tonight, I had to join her. So we went out on our run, and I have to say that Amy, in the last 10 years, has taught me how to live. And it's not how long you live, it's how you live. And we talk a lot about that. And she was reading something. She said, this really caught my eye about how you find joy in life. That you really need 3 things. You need something to do that you love. You need someone to love, and you need something to look forward to. And that's what ADAPT does. And it's truly remarkable when you think of the people who struggle. They need that. But you know what? They teach all of us that they get up and they do it every day, and they find that joy and they find something to look forward to. So I just want to thank all of you for being here tonight. You all deserve an award for supporting this incredible organization. So we feel honored to be here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Please welcome Liz Cohen-Hausman and James Hausman.
becoming professional speakers.
Not easy.
Okay. Well, thank you and good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me? I hope so. On behalf of the entire Board of Directors, including our fearless leader, Gary Gerisi, I want to thank you all for being here tonight, and also for your continued support of the organization, co-founded by several generous families, including my grandfather, Leo, and his two brothers, Sam and Jack. My father, Marty, could not be here tonight, but sends his best wishes and congratulations on another successful gala. We are so proud of ADAPT's work, which makes an enormous difference in people's lives, especially in these turbulent times. Liz and I wanted to take a moment to reflect on the ongoing tragedy in Ukraine. One of the stories coming out is the plight of children and adults with disabilities who have been cut off from their caregivers and in many cases abandoned. ADAPT will be working with their national and international partners to lend their assistance in an effort to help these victims. Our thoughts and our prayers are with the people of Ukraine. Turning to tonight, we are very proud to be honoring our CEO, Ed Matthews. Whose vision and determination over 3 decades has gotten us to where we are now. I know that ADAPT will be going strong for the next 75 years, in part because of Ed's contributions and, of course, his legacy. As you know, when ADAPT changed its name 5 years ago from United Cerebral Palsy of New York City, we promised that even with the expanded scope of services, we would always be true to our core mission: to provide programs and services for people with disabilities. That commitment is demonstrated in the video you're about to see, featuring individuals and families whose lives have been forever changed thanks to ADAPT. These clips show why our services are important and why ADAPT is so deserving of our generous support as we continue to build bridges to make a more inclusive world for all. Thank you all for being here.
ADAPT has helped me achieve the greatest achievement in getting this apartment. They gave me my first opportunity, and now I work in the Barclays Center, and I've been there for 4 months. It's a job that I've always wanted, and I got it, and I enjoy going there and working with a lot of my coworkers.
Raphael comes to work every day with at least the same matched energy and intensity as our 15,000 patrons. So he's always coming in very excited, very energetic, and he's very interactive with the fans.
Being at ADAPT has really helped me learn how to be around the fans in Barclays Center, my new coworkers, understanding that when I need help, I can go to them if I need to.
For every single event, he makes sure that he's availed himself and is willing and able to work. And if we have anybody that calls out, he's just around the corner and he's more than able and willing to come in at the drop of a hat.
It's amazing living right next to Barclays Center. You don't have to take no train, there's no nothing, just walk out your door and go next door. That's an awesome feeling for me. I wake up with the attitude of, let's go to work, let's have a great shift, and let's get better. Just because you have a disability, that doesn't mean you can't work. It shouldn't stop you, because I know it doesn't stop me. I'm living the dream that I want, and to be able to do something that you want to do, because not everybody gets the chance to do that. I enjoy it very much.
Tomas is our only son, and ever since like the age of 2, he's been diagnosed with autism. First he used to say like 2 or 3 words, and then out of nowhere he just stopped completely.
When he was diagnosed, I was basically lost. So I wanted to learn more about how can I help him as a child and how can I help myself.
Now he's 4 years old, going to adapt, and it's a big improvement.
Then he just started blossoming little by little. And he was forming sentences. I'm able to ask him, how was your day? How was school? And he's able to actually tell me. So,
oh my goodness, he's like a different child. He has grown so much. In the beginning, he lacked self-confidence, so he didn't really like to try new activities. Now he's like hands-on and engaged and a helper.
I know that they're doing something right with him because he's always excited to come to school, and he's always telling me how his day was, what his friends do.
We have an amazing curriculum here. It's called Creative Curriculum, and it's very aligned with how he is as a learner, and he also gets to see different ways to try new activities so he doesn't feel like he has to do one way. That's been a great resource for him.
We came here and it's open hands. They took us in with no problem. So then since they took us, we was like, you know what, for the school, whenever you need us, just give us a call.
They have become more of a family than just a school.
Yeah.
Google Home has transformed their lives tremendously because now they're not solely relying on staff, they're being more independent on themselves.
Before this technology, I needed much more help. Now Google is my favorite.
Debbie, she comes home, she can turn on her lights.
Okay, Google, turn on the light.
Turn on the TV, turn off the TV.
Okay, Google, turn off the TV.
Turning Samsung TV off.
It's just that technology that's helping them benefit more.
I'm the only one who can speak for the other girls too. They need my help. It's easier for me to understand it. I'm a real leader at the house now.
Hi, Google, turn TV off.
Quality of life, that's what we're aiming for them to be more independent and not to allow their disability to hold them back.
Before ADAPT, it was UCB, and I started really little when I was 6 or 5 years old. Really, I was born to be in ADAPT Community Network.
Well, it's been a pleasure to work with ADAPT Community Network, partially because it has been more than just a show. They have been here for months rehearsing, and they've been part of our community. We know many of the actors now.
For the past 5 months, we've been rehearsing a production of Alice in Wonderland because it's such a classic story that people are familiar with. There's so many different characters.
There's plenty of room.
Hey, have a glass of wine.
I don't see any wine.
There isn't any.
Well, then it wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
Well, it wasn't very civil of you to sit down.
Being able to rehearse in the community has changed a lot of them in terms of their skills and their social abilities and their ability to really get into their characters. One specifically is Debbie Mayer, who plays our White Queen.
Oh, I used to be shy. I used to be afraid to perform in front of people. Now that I'm performing in front of people, it got rid of my shyness, and it helps my memory because you have to memorize your lines. It's fun being other people and doing different characters.
I play the Cheshire Cat. My owner is the Duchess, and the Cheshire Cat is very sneaky. I'm excited because it gets me out of my comfort zone and I get to extend my horizon.
We really listened to the community who said we as disabled artists want a place where we can train comfortably, where we can convene and have conversations about the sector, and we want to see representation in the teachers, in the performers, in the community that's engaging.
It feels like one big family. It doesn't even feel like, oh, they're from here, they're from here. It feels like one. And I think it's been really amazing.
For my son to come in here and leave out of here with a smile on his face every single day and wanting to come back every single day, you guys are doing an awesome job. Keep it going.
Thank you, Adapt. Thank you for everything you guys have done for me. Without you, none of this is possible. I wouldn't have my apartment. I wouldn't have Barclays Center. Thank you so much for everything you guys have done for me.
They're doing a good job. They're doing a good job.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now, please welcome Erba Rivera.